welcome back to almost our final #Finance Friday for the year. 2020 has been crazy. I mean, from COVID to elections in the US where Trump didn't want to concede, and there's just been really interesting things happening. And maybe in your business you have found that this year has been tough, just like it has been for the rest of us. And maybe actually your year has been awesome, in which case I'm really, really happy for you. But regardless of how you've experienced 2020, I want you to take a moment just to reflect and think about what this year has been like, what has happened, what you've learned. So today, what I want to just talk about are some questions that you can potentially reflect on as you are looking at your 2020 in review. At UPvisor, we've had really interesting things happening as we were pivoting during lockdown, during June, July, and you guys would have seen the big announcements as we were rebranding and re-strategizing. And even but even with that, some things have not happened as fast as I would have wanted to. I know my website has still got some work to be done, and it's always like a work in progress, right? And I think if nothing else, 2020 has taught me that things never work as fast and as well, potentially, as you would like them to. But at the same time, there are always going to be interesting new opportunities that come across your path. For example, for me, meeting Mark Taylor has been really great, just getting involved with Tamami and helping their business get to a point where they are going to be profitable and revenue generating. And it's just opened up this whole new world of opportunities, of networks, of just figuring out that my world can be so much bigger than just what I was used to before lockdown. So as you think about your 2020 in review, here are a few questions I want you to think about. Think about what worked. What were those things that you did really well and that helped you to get to a point where you have been able to be sustainable and profitable, and where you have been able to get your energy to arrive every single day, to be excited about what you're doing. Then think about what didn't work, because there are lots of things that didn't work during 2020. And yes, COVID might be one of those things. But think about what are the things that were within your control that did not work for you. What were those things that drained your energy? For me, it was having too many meetings and not sticking to my morning routine. Because if I'm not actually focusing, spending time in quietness and stillness and planning for what lies ahead, my whole day can just easily blow up. Then I want you to think about what you are grateful for, because there is so much to be grateful for. Something that I realized during 2020 is that it's okay to not be okay. And it's been emotionally draining for a lot of people. And I know a lot of people have lost family members with COVID and just with everything else that's been happening. But still, even so, there are things that we can be grateful for. And it's not to discount those feelings of feeling unsettled and distressed with where you are. It's not about that, but it's just about making sure that you keep a bigger picture about what is happening in your life. And then I want you to think about what you have learned. Now, I've already mentioned a few things that I have learned, but I think one of the biggest things that I have learned is that you need support. You need people to rally around you to make sure that, especially as a solopreneur, you really need people that can walk this journey out with you, because entrepreneurship is a really lonely journey if you do it on your own. So what did you learn? What were some of those key learnings that you can take away and that you can implement and take some action steps around and make sure that 2021 will be better? And then the last one I want you to think about here is thinking about what could have gone better or potentially differently if you had more or higher quality information coming your way. Now, this leads in for me very strongly into what's happening from a financial perspective. Now, you might have listened into the session that we did with the Blue Ninjas just the other day about reporting tools and their issues. Because at the end of the day, we need information to be able to make the right decisions. So I want you to think about that from a financial perspective, from a marketing strategy perspective, from even within your relationships or within your team, if you've got a team, what information could have been provided that would have helped the outcome to come out better on the other side? Okay, so there are a couple of questions that I want you to think about. Now, as I said, that links in strongly to your finances. So every month and every quarter, you might need to do specific things that you review, okay? At year end, it's especially important to make sure that you are reviewing where you are at from a financial perspective. Now, this is not necessarily to say that this is your financial year end, because I know a lot of businesses will only close on the 28th of February, along with the tax year. But it's good to start just thinking about these things. So I'm going to mention just a few. I want you to think about what is happening in your cash flow. Okay, are you getting the money in from your debtors the way you need to? Do you need to push still for the last few days of the year to try and get some payments to come through? What about how much money is in your overdraft? How much money have you been lending? Are you able to potentially put a little bit extra into your loan to help you save on interest cost? And think about what's happening with your profitability. Think about your gross profit, think about your net profit, think about what are the key components contributing to your decreasing profit figure, okay? Think about what have been the trends during the year. Has it been seasonal? Has it been up and down? Obviously, COVID, again, has been something abnormal. But what are those things that have driven your profit figure? Then how about your key performance indicators? Maybe there are some items in your income statement that has driven your KPIs. But what are those other things that for you are indicative of success within the business? Now, it might be your ratio of chargeable versus non-chargeable hours if you're in the service industry. It might be your wastage or your loss figures if you are in manufacturing, okay? Or even if you're in agriculture. What are those key things that are driving the success in your business, and what have they been in comparison to your budget or what you have expected at the beginning of the year? Then think about budget versus actual. If you had prepared a budget during this year or at the beginning of this year, how did you actually perform with that? And are there some key learnings and key takeaways that you can take out of that to make sure that you are preparing for 2021 on a stronger foot? Then I want you to think about unnecessary and unforeseen expenses. If you think about unnecessary expenses, there are so many times that we don't realize that we are spending money that we don't actually need to, because firstly, we might just not be aware of them. And secondly, we might not realize that we're not actually using whatever item it is that we have purchased. So this is especially relevant when we start thinking about debit orders and subscriptions and things like that. And we've done a previous session about this. But I want you to think, which of your expenses are actually driving benefit in your business? And if they are not driving a benefit for your business, and if they are not absolutely necessary, like insurance, where you might not be able to see a benefit just yet, but you know it's needed, which of those expenses can fall away? And what is the implication going to be of them not being with you? And then for those unforeseen expenses, I know that there have been lots of unforeseen expenses this year, but I want you to not just think about, oh, COVID, once off, it's never going to happen again. No, rather use that to stimulate your thinking about what types of unexpected expenses you might need to start budgeting for going forward. Which of those unforeseen expenses this year are going to become recurring in 2021, okay? Then think about how many new clients you got. I want you to think about not just how many clients you got, think about how you actually got them. Like, what was the process that you followed to be able to recruit these new clients and to get them onto your books? And are there similar clients that you can now approach because you have these clients as part of your business? Remember that getting new clients are always going to be more expensive than just upselling to your existing clients. But if you are getting new clients, make sure that you're actually leveraging off of them and being able to get more new clients because of the fact that you can now show actually you have potentially a really awesome client as part of who you are serving, right? Maybe even ask them for a referral or a testimonial, because that is really just going to promote your business that much more. And then the last one I want you to think about is, what are your clients actually worth? This sounds terrible, but I want you to think about what the lifetime value is of your clients. How long are they staying with you? How much are they spending on average? How many repeat purchases are they making? Or is it really that you have to get them once one at a time, once off, and it's just actually a really hard slog to be able to get these people on board. Okay, so those are a couple of areas that I want you to think about in terms of your finances. And there's a lot more that we could be thinking of, but I think there's been so much happening, we don't need more than that. So start with those, and as we step into 2021, we will start having a look at a few extra areas that you need to consider as part of your planning for 2021. But as you close out 2020, I know that these questions are really going to help you to drive some decisions that you might have to make over the Christmas season. And as you take a holiday, hopefully you're taking a holiday, and I know that it will be really, really beneficial. Okay, so that's UPvisor's 2020 in review. Briefly, I shared some of my learnings and some of the things that I've noticed during this year. And I want to hear in the comments down below, let us know what have been some of your key learnings for 2020, and what are you going to take away and make sure that 2021 will be even better than what 2020 was. Okay, so that's me for today. Until next time, I hope you are going to be taking some time to rest, reflect, relax, and just really spend some time with family as you're heading into this Christmas season. Until next week, bye.